Well, I've always told you that this channel has been built on credibility and it's concrete because we don't really trade in stories that can easily, obviously, put us down in the mud, hence in shame. On Saturday, I told you a story, I brought you a story that Declan Rice is set to fly back to England to undergo his medical at Arsenal, and Arsenal are planning a very big unveiling for the player. And you watch the video, most of you said, Rokani, you're right, and there's some few people that said, Rokani, no, that's not a lie, that's a lie. And I told you that. However, much I respect John Cross of the Mirror, who came out and said that he might undergo his medical away from London Conley. I differed from him. I rebuffed that because I know how they unveil a player of £105 million. He's English. He has broken the English record, in the Premier League. There is no way they are going to let him do the medical in Portugal, where he was with his family. And guess what? Confirmation is here. Declan Rice has returned in London. And for this, we even have a video evidence that we're going to play for you onto this YouTube channel. You're going to watch Declan Rice training and ready to rumble for Arsenal. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. How are you guys? And where you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokan David. Smash the like button, comment and share if at all you're watching us for the very first time. Endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Now, we are talking Albert Sambi Lokonga. Burnley are really trying their best to see to it that the reunion of Albert Sambi Lokonga and Vincent Kompany that they had at Anderlecht really comes to pass, but Arsenal are really putting their cards in their chest. Lastly, Tomiyasu last chance. We are going to talk about Tomiyasu and the last chance that Mikel Arteta is going to offer to him to say to it that he operates his last chance offered to him by Mikel Arteta, because we might see him quit Arsenal as up. Let's see close to 500 likes smash on this video, because this is Declan Rice. I know Arsenal fans are always charged up. Declan Rice and Julian Timber, you guys are just obsessed with news coming in from those two, because every time I drop a story onto those, oh my god, it gates what we call a mammoth of views onto this channel. Rokan David is my name. You can as well call me RD, and you can as well follow me onto Twitter at Rokani Media FB. Now, let me show you this video of Declan Rice. He was at his home, and obviously with the son of Mark Noble. If at all you know Mark Noble, he was the captain of West Ham, and obviously Declan Rice managed to really be the captain of him after he left, and he replaced him as the captain of West Ham. And that is Declan Rice trying his shooting at home with Mark Noble's son yesterday. He is in London, reported as a player who is really pushing to see to it that he signs for Arsenal. And that shows you the urge that he is really ready to even join the Arsenal side before beating the deadline of all those players that we are playing all took part in the international activity comes to pass, because all players that took part in the international activity are supposed to return around 13th, 14th. But Declan Rice is so much sure that after undergoing his medical, he's going to get or join the team of Arsenal to see it that he trains, and obviously see himself travel with Arsenal down in Bayern, in Nuremberg. It's in Germany, Nuremberg, to get this over the line. And that is Declan Rice for you. Back in London, as told you, there is a pitch at his home, and obviously he's trying to do the needful shooting practice in there for you, and he's trying to get ready so it is that by the time the medical is done and everything has come to pass, Declan Rice just proves to Mikel Arteta that I'm the real player that you signed from West Ham to Arsenal, and that is obviously what I can do. Can I get you some sound? Let me see whether the video has sound, and obviously give you the sound and you also hear it. All right. All right, you've heard the sound of Declan Rice, and that's what happened at their yard. No sooner had he returned back in England. Remember, he was on his holiday in Portugal, and he returned to England on Saturday to see to it that he prepares to see that his medical comes to pass, and he becomes an Arsenal player as up. Now, that shows you that this deal is really imminent, and we are told that on Monday, things might really escalate to see to it that Arsenal gets in their second signing of the summer officially. And now, Fabrizio Romano, I think like 2-3 hours back, he has gone ahead and really confirmed to us the following about the deal of Declan Rice. Fabrizio told us that Arsenal and West Ham now really close to final agreement on payment terms of Declan Rice. Final green light expected very soon for both Declan Rice and Julian Timber, as both deals are at very advanced stages since Thursday/Friday. More to follow. Now, for Declan Rice, Fabrizio Romano telling us that the deal is really close because the payment agreement is really one of those that they are trying to really put to bed. When you resonate it, when you add dots to Declan Rice returning and cutting his holiday short to come back to become an Arsenal player, it obviously shows you exactly what this is all about. It's all about Declan Rice coming up and obviously become the most big thing at Arsenal. To see it this week, it's anticipated it's going to get done. And I think Declan Rice got communication that you should return back to London because we think by Monday everything will be done and dusted. You'll undergo your medical and obviously do the needful as the new player of Arsenal. And he comes in through at a very trying period that very many players are really wanting to leave, especially those that play in the midfield. If you're if you're bringing Declan Rice and you're losing Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka, that's not good news for your team. That is it. It's not good news for the Arsenal side. And if at all Xhaka goes and you stay with Thomas Partey, that is some good news because you'll at times play Thomas Partey, Odegaard, and Declan Rice as a number 8, box-to-box midfielder. Then sometimes you can say, I would love to play a midfield 3 of Declan Rice as a single pivot alongside Odegaard and Kai Havertz. Then you can do Jorginho, Declan Rice, and Martin Odegaard. So that is exactly what this deal means for Arsenal, and they need to really fight hard that they keep either Thomas Partey or Granit Xhaka. But most importantly, however much is an injury-prone player, he's on huge wages, he should be kept at Arsenal. I really understand why Thomas Partey is looked at as one of those players that Arsenal are not even bothered of him to leave, especially the board of Arsenal. The reason is simple. He's earning £200,000 a week, and the number of games he plays per season are not equivalent to the amount of money he earns. So they rather lodge him off and get in a player who is earning the same amount of money and is readily available every time his team really needs him. And his drop off, towards the end of the season really showed a lot of uncertainty in the mind, or caused a lot of uncertainty in the mind of Mikel Arteta as far as Thomas Partey is concerned. But Rice, I think by today we are going to get a here we go. That Declan Rice to Arsenal, it's a here we go. As Fabrizio Romano told us that they are close, but he's back in London. You've seen the videos, evident, and how you know exactly what is going to happen next for the player. Now, let's attack another midfield situation of Arsenal, because it looks like if at all Declan Rice comes in through and Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka leave, obviously Arsenal will have to sign in Romeo Lavia, who Liverpool are trying to prepare an offer, and Arsenal have to act fast if at all they want Romeo Lavia genuinely. Now, Albert Sambi Lokonga is another midfielder that Arsenal is looking at, and obviously they might cash in for the player. And Alan Nixon has gone ahead and really told us the following, that Lokonga is getting close to signing for Burnley ahead of the new season. Arsenal are keen to offload the Belgian midfielder, while Vincent Kompany wants a reunion with the 23-year-old. The two clubs will have to come to a compromise as the Gunners look for a permanent deal. Now, permanent deal of Albert Sambi Lokonga came in at Arsenal for £18 million, euros, from from Anderlecht in Belgium. That was in the summer of 2021. But I understand his problem. It has always been the consistency, and consistency helps you thrive at any team. But with Arsenal trying to really engage him to the team, felt like he cannot really compete. That's it. But every time he came in through, you saw a player. You saw a player in him. He's a baller. He's a very good footballer. And I think he just lacks what we call enough playing time. And obviously, being assured that the manager believes in me and I have no pressure, I'm going to be the starter in this team. With experience, he's going to have to gain while playing in the Premier League ever since he came in through from Anderlecht in 2021. I think that's why Vincent Kompany is interested in him. Why? Vincent Kompany was his manager at Anderlecht and is the one who recommended him to Mikel Arteta. That's it. Now, having recommended him to Mikel Arteta, Arteta signed him, and very many teams like Lazio were interested in him, but Arsenal really went ahead to sign Albert Sambi Lokonga. But he's a good player. But to elevate his levels, he needs to go ahead and really first play for Burnley. After playing for Burnley, then we'll see what happens. Now, for business purposes, I wouldn't advise Arsenal to sell Albert Sambi Lokonga now because his contract runs down until 2026. It's better he adds 1 year on his contract, then loan him to Burnley. After loaning him to Burnley, if he hits the ground running, that means Arsenal is going to get some good amount of money from him. Look at Romelu Lavia. He has just had one fantastic season at Southampton, and they are calling in for £45 million. Now, Arsenal have to really play what we call a game of poker, because you cannot win a lottery without making a pledge. That's it. So Arsenal can try a guesswork on Albert Sambi Lokonga, get him into that Burnley side on a loan, and I think Vincent Kompany will highly want that. Then, after getting him there on a loan, long season loan, wait, if he hits the ground running, then they might get even £50 million out of him because he's a gem. He's a very, very good player that just looks great, and he's still young, because by the time Arsenal signed him, he was just 21. Now he's just 23 years of age, meaning that they can easily get some huge amount of money from him. Just one single season can elevate you to the next level as far as this beautiful game of football is concerned. So if I'm Edu and Mikel Arteta, we just go for a loan of Albert Lokonga. So let's wait and see how that happens. I mean, see him coming in through and obviously seeing his other loan really falling off when he was at Crystal Palace. I think this one can work out because I don't see Vincent Kompany, a manager who is going to be sacked in his first Premier League season at Burnley. But the manager that had signed him at Crystal Palace saw himself sacked by the board, and obviously that's why he never got enough playing time in the second half of the season. But I believe it's better you let him go now to even start the preseason with Burnley. The chemistry builds up amongst the players, and it'll be good to go. And Arsenal might get in some huge amount of money from the player. Now, lastly, Tomiyasu. Yesterday, he put up that photo with his fellow Japanese teammate known as Nakayama, that is Yuta. Obviously, his national Japanese teammate. They play together, and he looks fit. I saw him with William Saliba. I think they've been in Spain. I don't know whether it's also in Spain, but it looks like he's ready for the preseason. And this is where I come up with the story that I built from that photo, that I think this is the last season of Tomiyasu at Arsenal, if at all he continues to be an injury-prone player. Because this season, he has been injury-prone, costed Arsenal the trophy, and if at all he doesn't really show improvement when it comes to the injuries, I tell you, Arteta is going to dislodge him. The coming in of Julian Timber will obviously see him off this team of Arsenal, because you can't keep a player like Tomiyasu who is good and is already injury prone. Every manager would love to have a player available every time he needs him, at least for like 90% of the games. So Mikel Arteta is really giving Tomiyasu his last season at Arsenal. According to me, this is his last season at Arsenal. it's his last season if he doesn't really up his game of being fit. If he continues to be injury prone, Arsenal will sell him. And the good thing is that they bought him for like 18 million euros. So if at all they can get like 20 million pounds out of him, they won't be making a loss. So Tomiyasu needs to up his game to make sure that he's fit throughout the season, as the competition is going to be stiff at Arsenal. Ben White, Julian Timber are up for his number, and for them, they're not injury-prone players. They are readily available every time the manager needs them, and that's something that he needs to work upon and obviously improve on. That is Tomiyasu. So guys, your thoughts on to Declan Rice back in London to complete his move to Arsenal are welcome in the comment section below. What do you make about Tomiyasu? Should Mikel Arteta cling on him even though he's injured or not? And lastly, Albert Sambi Lokonga, a player that is close to joining Burnley. Do you think Arsenal should cash in for him, or they should really get a loan for him so that they can obviously integrate him back in the team of Arsenal, or sell him and make some huge chunk of money from his permanent sale? Good morning. I sign out for now. See you later. I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. My Muslim viewers and subscribers, thank you. May Allah see you through everything that you place your hands on. Rokani David remains my name. It has been the Arsenal News Show. Strictly Arsenal News. Rokani Media Football has been the YouTube channel. Ciao, ciao.